Good evening, welcome to UKO Boxing TV. We're here down at Wednesbury Boxing Academy. Joining me this evening, Zach Parker, middleweight, Jason Wellborn, light middleweight, and Paul Mann, trainer, guru, eye candy. Chaps, thanks for joining us. Zach, we'll start with you. Obviously you're fighting this weekend, second pro fight, and it's not a bad way to come into it on a big bill in Birmingham at the Barclaycard Arena.
No, big show to be on, especially for your second fight. Most people don't dream about it in the first 15 fights, so I can't wait to put on a show for everyone.
Obviously you made your debut at Cannock Leisure Centre in July, I think it was. You had a bit of a break. How was that? How was the experience of the first pro?
Yeah, it was a good experience. Got a 4th round stoppage over Lewis Van Pooch, and only up from here.
Talk us through the background, because I mean, we had a couple of guys on last month who came from a white collar background, but obviously you're very much from an amateur background. Just tell us a bit about how you sort of got into it and your amateur career after that.
Yeah, I got into it through family because all my brothers and my dad did it. My dad boxed Chris Eubank when he was a professional, and started boxing when I was 7 years old, and then obviously won 4 national titles as an amateur. Boxed for England and Great Britain, and obviously once I was 15 I started coming over to the pro gym with my brother, and then obviously I turned pro when I was 21.
Obviously you touched on the fighting family background there. Just talk us through, firstly your dad. I mean, he fought Chris Eubank, obviously boxed to a decent level. Yeah, I think he had 9 fights, won 7, but then obviously he had his family and everything, so he stopped. And my brother, he's 14 fights with 13 wins, so pretty good background to be in with. And that's your brother Dwayne, isn't it?
Dwayne Parker, that is, yeah.
And your cousin as well. You got a cousin, Connor?
Yeah, I got 2 cousins what box as well, Callum Parker and Connor Parker. Connor Parker's won 2 national titles as well as what I've done, and then Callum is just he's boxed I think about 20 times. Quite good amateur as well.
Is there a bit of competition between you?
We push each other. I could say that, but I wouldn't say competition between us because different weights and everything. So just pushing each other to be the best that we can be.
How did you end up sort of down here in the West Midlands? Obviously you're from Swadlincote up in the East Midlands.
My brother came over first with John Joe Finnegan, and now I followed my brother over here when I was 15 and training ever since.
You're building up a little fan base over here as well?
Yeah, hopefully, you know what I mean. That's what it is. I want all the fans to watch me when I'm going to be hitting it big, hopefully.
Tell us a bit about your style, because obviously you've had one fight, you're going to be on a big bill this weekend where a lot more people are going to see you and you're going to get more exposure, but tell us about your style and how you are as a pro compared to as an amateur.
Well, the art of it is to hit and not be hit, and that's what I like to do. But I could explain myself as a boxer puncher. If I have to fight, I'll fight, but if I want to box, I can box.
Is that especially important, Paul, for a young fighter now to, especially coming from an amateur background, to stick to that and not try and change into a banger and trying to be a banger too quickly?
Well, the thing is, when you say banger, as long as he's coming to the pro ranks now, he's not scoring shots, he doesn't run off, he doesn't just score the shots, get his distance and score the shots. What he's actually doing, he plants his feet and he hits someone. When he does hit, he hurts them as well. He's actually, because I've told him, when you come into the pro ranks, there's no more just scoring. The referee's just going to come in, say break. When you get on top of them, you've got to hurt them, because some of these journeymen, they're that tough. We seen last week at Warsaw with Andy Keats and Matthew Ciro taking all them big shots off him, and he was still there. So I said, you must break them down. You've got to still box at the end of your jab. Keep working as you am, and then eventually you'll start getting the stoppages. And he's a very, very strong kid. The other thing is he's got his footwork. It's mastered. I mean, there's not, as I was saying last week, when we're having unlicensed fighters, and I have to work a lot more with them, correcting their stances, and obviously their nerves play up a hell of a lot more than where he's had like 70 amateur fights, won 3 nationals, good pedigree. he comes up, but there's a lot more confidence there, but we still have to improve him. We have to slow him down, still getting him punching right, and every fight you just improve, and he's willing to learn that as well. He's not one of them who's just come in the gym and says, like, I know everything, I've had this many fights and I've come to the pro ranks, I know what to do. He's not, he listens as well, so which is a really, really good thing for us as well, and I think he'll do really, really well, which he showed in his previous fight. Listen to instructions and stop the kid in the fourth.
Did you find it very different? I mean, obviously you touched on it there, but you know, having no head guard on, obviously at the moment nowadays amateur fighters don't have the head guards on, but it's still different. It's still smaller gloves. It's still.
I did I've boxed without head guards for most of my amateur career because it's only just come in the last year with no head guards with the amateurs, but you have to pace yourself a lot more when you're pros because obviously longer rounds and that, but in the smaller gloves, but it's all boxing really, isn't it? So it's just the same as the amateurs. It's just rounds are longer. That's what I think.
So you touched earlier on your old man being a fighter and fighting Chris Eubank. It just so happens that you're a middleweight and Chris Eubank Jr. was a middleweight. Is that the dream?
Oh, hopefully. That's why I want to be up top where everyone else is and making some noise in the middleweight division. And then I'll hopefully go up to super middle and then fight best in super middle. That's what I want to do. And I won't mind fighting Chris Eubank. That won't bother me.
Big statement.
The thing with Zach is he listens to me. He's doing the things, everything that you should do properly. He won't just have this fight like his last fight and then go and binge and go up in weight massive. He'll be professional outside, which I was talking about on our previous show, that they've got to live their life outside the ring as well. This kid does. What he does is it's your dieting and that. What a lot of the boxers do is they have the fight and then they come into training. When they do come into training, they train to make weight and they don't harness their skills anymore. They don't better themselves in the boxing ring. What they're doing, they're just making weight and getting themselves fitter and just trying to lose the weight. If you control your weight outside the ring, when you come back in, you'll still be strong and fit, and we can work on things and work on techniques and work on improving you as a fighter, not just losing weight. And that's what Zach's doing at the moment, and he's showing that from his last fight to now he's hardly put any weight on. So he could if after his last fight Errol could have got him another fight 2 weeks after and he'd be ready because he'd be at that weight and he was just there. He still kept the same way he was in the amateurs, keeping on the weight. He's kept the same way as the pros, even though there's big gaps in between. He's always ready, and that's a really, really good thing, and that's what you need.
Yeah, but he's younger than me and Jason.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I mean, it's a fair while ago now, and you were one fight into your career. But do you remember what your memories of when you were starting off, Jason?
Yeah, it was just like basically I'd had many amateur, but obviously I was more as a pro style as soon as I walked in, so it was a bit different for me. Like, but just coming up Wednesbury and training with the pros and just picking up little things as you go along. So it was never like I was never an amateur kind of fighter, which I've seen Zach, and obviously he's got a lot of potential in doing in his technique and everything. But he'll just keep progressing as the fight's going, like Paul said. But with me, it was a different kettle of fish. I was just a different kind of fighter. I was a bit wilder.
Jason was just absolutely going forward, non-stop, wild. It was just like, but he'd stop him. There's nothing wrong with that neither. In the professional game, you can fight with your hands down. If you're winning, you could overwhelm a good boxer. Jason had some good boxers that come in here and he wouldn't stop. He'd overwhelm him with punches and shots, and he can really hurt him. When Jason punches, he can bang. Jason can. And so he just absolutely annoyed. There's nothing wrong with that neither, but you have to slow it down. He was willing to learn and carry on as he learned as he was going. Now you're a lot better boxer as well. The main art, what I've told Zach as well, what I want him to have is longevity as well.
Okay, we're going to take a little look at Zach in action and join us again after the break.
due to a cut sustained in the eyes of Pooh and Pooch. For your winner, Zach Parker!
Welcome back to UKO Boxing TV with myself, Phil Barnett. We're joined by middleweight Zach Parker, light middleweight Jason Wellborn, and trainer Paul Mann. Chaps, thanks again for your time. Jason, like Zach, you're fighting on the big Birmingham bill this weekend. Matthew Macklin, in a way, probably is he the biggest name in your career so far that you come up against?
He's probably, well, he's boxed at the best level who I've been in against so far. Like, so yeah, he's probably the biggest name. Well, he's the biggest name that I'm going to be gaining with.
Because you originally looked like you were going to fight Sam Eggington at welterweight for the British and Commonwealth. Frankie Gavin across the city got that fight instead. Obviously, he's now pulled out. Then you got Macklin instead, multiple world title challenger. Like you say, he's got great pedigree. Yeah. Did that work out better for you, or were you good not to be a fight for the British?
I think it did. I think everything happens for a reason, and like obviously me making that weight, and I was thinking, yeah, I can do welter, I can do it. Like 'cause it was coming off nice last time, but I just think like middleweight is my weight. Like, but I'd probably done it, but I'd have probably took it. It might not have been the right fight for me. Like, so just gone with the flow, and obviously I've stuck at my weight what I've been winning my last titles at. Like, so happy days.
Because you're on a run of form at light middleweight, and I guess like Paul touched on earlier, if you're not focusing too much on dropping weight for dropping weight's sake, you can concentrate on your technique and your stamina rather than just getting the pounds off.
Yeah, well, I still have to like it's still hard to get to like, but I just thought with the time off work, my sponsor, like I thought I could probably do it, but I'm glad in a way now the position what I'm in now, I'm still like 11'3", 11'4", so that extra seven pound does take a lot out, man. I think I'm a different fighter when I'm at welter, so I think it's just benefited. Everything's gone my way this camp. I'm glad it's Macklin than Eggington.
How's training going? Who have you been sparring? Tell us.
Well, I was going over with Frankie, like grabbing the sparring, he asked me to go over. So obviously sparring, I just thought, well, southpaw sparring, I've got to work. I know it ain't the same as Macklin, but Lennox, Andy Robinson in the gym. So I've had good sparring, got the rounds in, and I've had 8 weeks off work through the gaffer, like Dean Hitchcock from Dameways. He gave me the chance really like to do it full time, so I found it better me training 3 times a day some days, twice a day resting, travelling for sparring, and like having a proper camp. So I think that's going to help me this fight as well.
It's also the fact he's injury free as well.
Yeah.
And his last one, previous, by the grace of God, I mean previous fights, even when he stopped Scott Haywood, when he fought Frankie Gavin, no excuses though, but he was ill through all of them. He's had problems with antibiotics with his feet, and he still goes in there and he still fights. So he's been really good. Like all he's been really good this time, haven't you? Everything's gone well.
I mean, you get what when you're dropping weight, things do prop up like cars, but I just think sometimes you gotta like I could have pulled out Scott Haywood, and he was a tricky fighter, but it was just one of them fights. I've never pulled out, so me going in 110%, which this time, and I know for a fact as soon as I bell, I've got to switch on because I know what I'm getting in with, and I've trained for that, so I'm confident in myself.
Obviously, you're coming off a good win in another local derby against Ryan Aston. I'm sure you won't say it was controversial, but a lot of people did say it was controversial. Ryan started really well, and then you really came into it.
Yeah, I just thought, I don't know, like you say, every fighter adapts different. I probably should have put it on him a bit more, but I just seen what he had and this and that, and then when I found my feet, I started learning, and that's when I come on. But I probably did give him a bit of respect, like, but it was one of them. Like, so
you still got the win.
I got the win,
that's
and like,
the main thing, yeah.
Whatever way I don't know whether it was round 4, round 10, a couple of more seconds, he could have been in a bad way, but it's one of them. I've put him past me now, and this is where I'm at this stage now. Bigger fights, better shows. That's what I want to be on. And that's why I want to adapt at this level now and stop there for a few fights.
And you're coming into this with more experience now. Obviously, you fought Frankie for the British a couple of years ago. You fought Liam Smith for the British light middleweight title last year. How important is that experience in?
Like you say, that's getting in there with them and feeling what they've got. But obviously, I've had like short notice with Liam, and that's how it was more of a less, like Paul said, just training for my weight. I don't have enough time to like practice little things. But
and look where Liam is now. That's a great experience, isn't it? I mean, he's a fantastic fighter, Liam is, and it was quite close. If you watch the fight,
I was going to say, if he hadn't landed that low blow on you, and in the round before, then he might not be where he is now.
It was, like I say, I've picked up little things. I know I've got the losses, but I've picked up little things and I'm learning as I'm going along.
It's experience, isn't it?
It's experience. So obviously everybody has the day, so it's just one of these fights. I just got to land a bit of luck with boxing, I think, and I just need that little bit of luck.
Do you think Macklin coming into this as a 3-time world title challenger might be taking you lightly?
I don't know, there's talk saying he'll be too light, but I stay listening. At the end of the day, I'm expecting him to do the weight like we did with Ryan. People saying that he's going to kill to make the weight, but he made the weight, and I always try and base as hard as I can, as much time as I've got, but with the weight, I'm expecting him to just do everything right, how I'm feeling now, so let's see, as long as he makes the weight and I'm at the weight, that's it. So I'm just expecting 110% Macklin that night. So
I suppose you have to do that because a lot of people, we don't really know what Macklin's got left. I mean, obviously he lost to Highland last year that no one saw coming. He's pretty much come from world level, suffered that loss, and then he's. I mean, I don't think even Matt knows what he's got left because he said himself that he was thinking about retirement. But what do you just prepare for Macklin?
Well, see, when both. He's in a position, obviously, if he loses to me, I probably think that's it. But I'm in a position where I'm at my peak. I'm 29 and I'm learning as I'm going, so he's in my way. You know what I mean? So obviously I've got to maintain that belt to get me further where he's been there and done it. Like, obviously I respect as a fighter, but it's business, and I respect Matthew Matten for what he's done, local lad and that, but you're in there on your own and I'm in it for myself, so I'm going there to win.
Let's take a look at Jason in action and then we'll come back to you in a minute. Good to see a bit of Jason in action there. Jason, it's a big show this weekend, packed with a lot of names, and I guess a chance for you to, like Zach, showcase yourself to an even bigger crowd on Sky Sports.
Yeah, well, Eddie Hatton seems to be the man, like, and he's bringing the show back to Birmingham, Matchroom, and like same as Zach, it's a big fight for his second fight, so obviously people can see his potential, what he's going to progress in his programme, and same with me, I'm at that level and have a bit more experience in the programme, but it's just adapting on Sky Sport and people seeing you, people watch Sky more than Box Nation, and that's how it's in a good way, so I think the tickets and everything, it's on the local and everyone can watch it on telly, so you just got to put a good performance on in our own town.
It's fantastic for the Midlands, fantastic, bringing fighting in Birmingham, Midlands, everything's good for all the local boxers and everything. It's just really, really good. It's a shame like there's been a few pullouts on the show, but it's still a very, very good show. You've got Rob Hunt fighting Carl Wiggins as well, and then you've got Sam Egerton fighting Dale Evans. It's a rematch, it's a good match. Everyone's thinking that it's one way, but still you can't take no fighter lightly. Every fight has to be taken like a world title fight and your fight, because you never know what's going to happen in boxing, which we've seen previously. And obviously you've got Jason fighting Macklin, great fight, great fight. So it's still a very, very good show. You know, it's just a shame that things happen in boxing, and people with pull-outs and things like that, they just happen. It's one of them things. No one wishes to pull out. They've trained that hard for their fights. They put their body through hell. When injuries or illnesses and things happen. It's just one of them things of our sport, and it's just such a shame that it's happening with one of the biggest fights happening at the moment with Tyson Fury and Klitschko. Klitschko didn't want to pull out. It's just one of them things, and they've got people flying over there, Tyson Fury's fans, booking hotel rooms and everything, and he has to be rearranged. But it's one of them things.
It must be gutting, lads, for a fight. I mean, obviously, Jason, you'll have come through it, and you've fought with injuries and stuff before. But you know, for people like Frankie, obviously was going to fight Eggington this weekend. He's had to pull out with a bad foot. Lennox Clark from your own gym suffered sickness, and that's setting back. It must be disappointing.
Yeah, it's obviously things go through your mind when you're cutting down and your body's low, and your mind plays games with you. Obviously, if you're injured, you am injured. Like, but with Gavin, I see his injury, like, and he was sparring me, and like you could tell, like, he couldn't move his feet. So for him to get in there with Eggington at this stage of his career, he's used his head and thought, well, I caught, you know, I mean, it was black, it was really bad. So he's done the right thing. And like with cup flus and that, you can't help it, can you? So it's just a bit of bad luck, like, just like nothing's happened to obviously the rest of the card, and the show's still going on. So that's the main thing.
Chaps, really appreciate your time. You two in particular, good luck with your fights on Saturday, and we'll talk to you after. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you again next month on UKO Boxing TV.
Flashing lights.